have struggled and struggled with Inktense pencils. They are honestly the hardest art supply out there, with the steepest learning curve. 1 week to master this art supply. Is this even possible? This is a relatively new art supply, so to ease in, let's reach for how much art can you make. In the chapter, What's the Style? Here, there are 1 of 2 pages in the book that already have a template. Which makeup look is best? Add colour and patterns to the eyes. I think this is gonna be fun. Oh, and funnily enough, Asher Draws Things literally just did these eyes. Almost like superheroes, it's such a cool approach. I've already seen it, so let's head over to Paloma the Peach. Get cozy. I'm gonna be honest, most of the time when I draw faces now, I don't actually add makeup. Back in the day, I did paint quite a few eye makeup looks. If you've ordered from the shop, you might even have a little mini eye sticker as a freebie from that era. And the biggest mistake I made in those days was actually going in with a base skin tone first, because it's hard to put the colours on top, especially for a transparent medium. The colours don't pop. Brown? Oh, no, this is blue. Okay, look like brown. We really need to do swatches. Working with Inktense pencils is very much a trust the process project, because right now it's not looking good. And then we add water and it kind of doesn't look much better. So that's where layering comes in. And already those colors are looking a lot brighter by going straight on the white. I'm guessing this is similar to actual makeup, where I see people add like concealer or a light base first and then pop eyeshadow on top. I'm guessing it's the same kind of theory, just to make the color pop a little bit brighter. And if eyes are something that you struggle to color or draw or paint, even entire faces, the best thing you can do is actually look at makeup tutorials online. YouTube videos or shorts like Reels. Not only is that where a lot of these ideas come from, otherwise I would have no clue. But when it comes to figuring out where the light hits the face, where the highlight is, where the shadows are, you can learn a lot from following makeup tutorials. Because really, contour is just making the most of those highlights and shadows and emphasizing it. So the exact location that contour goes in, like blush, bronzer, darker eyeshadow in the crease, all of that can actually help you when it comes to drawing and painting. And that's what I'm trying to bear in mind right now as we approach these. Also, trying to make them chaotic and bright and different. I tend to play it a little bit safe when I do my own makeup. I don't think there's much that I can really pull off when it comes to colour. So I'm having a lot of fun with this page. It's a freeing process. Of course, we aren't on the correct paper, but we're trying to get to know the art supply. You don't always have to use the best materials. Sometimes it's best to lower that barrier for entry and be able to just reach for art supplies that are nearby. Make it easy for yourself. At the end of the day, you'll learn more by using an art supply more often than using the best supplies with it. And this is a perfect beginning because we've already got the base down, so not really having to think is kind of ideal.
Why does it always start the same? Soon as I'm feeling sane and happy by myself, you walked into my life unannounced. But you're so sweet, I can't complain. Now you're too close for comfort. I've lost count of times I've been hurt just like that. Now I run away from shit like that. So I'm too shy to tell you.
I think we need a bit more contrast. Layering and layering forever at this point. But I'm liking this pencil texture. And that's the great thing about Inktense pencils, because you can do both. It's a little bit like Neo colors in that sense. Both can be water activated, but you can also use them dry. Of course, we need some lashes and finishing touches. A little highlight, obviously. And then that's the first spread all done. If you haven't figured out by now, this is How Much Art Can You Make episode. The art prompt book and the series. Yeah, we're making a lot of art.
Star, light up my sky. We're making days, babe. I want you to take me away. It's been a while, but if you wanna make me smile, you'd make my day, make my day.
I have this watercolour paper and I think it might be quite cool to try because it isn't 100% cotton, it's quite hardy. I don't know if you can tell, the other one was kind of disintegrating when I used it before, so I think we can try this. So that means we're probably going to put words on the side of whatever we do. Should we find a prompt? Considering it's a portrait sketchbook, it's going to be on one side. I'm thinking maybe a landscape would be easy, or something a little bit abstract perhaps. I think some pages need to be fixed. Let's see actually what blank pages we have. Ooh, what about this one? Because we can stick it on this side and then pop the prompt on this side. It is, how hot could be a location, object, or food? What can we do? Oh, what if we do a beach, but combine it with patterns, kind of like what we do for the Daily Doodle Diary. In this book, I end up drawing surreal quite a lot. Well, kind of like this, with more detail. Do you see how it's like a beach, but there's patterns? I think this is kind of what I'm thinking of right now. Okay, we'll use that as a base. Maybe like a loose layer first, and then add some heavy line work afterwards. Do you think that might work? We have to do some fun colours too, obviously.
Something's happened. Looking at this sketch, we're supposed to be adding all of these different patterns, but look at these blooms. How are we supposed to cover these up? When you add water to an art supply, a lot of the time it really does just do whatever it wants. And this is one of those moments, so I think we should just go with it, try and keep those blooms, but still add the patterns as much as we can. Honestly, I just don't want to cover it. With watercolor, the best part is the unpredictability of it. And if that's happening here, I think we should just go with it. Quickly just change things up, see what happens. It's all done. We have the patterns and we adapted. All that's left to do is cut this paper off the block and stick it in the book. Unfortunately, I did that thing again where I went a little bit too close to the edge, and now we have to cut the edge off, and now it looks silly and the other edge is going to go on the other page. Yes, I know, this keeps happening. Unfortunately, the paper is bigger than the book. and I'm not able to imagine that cut line that doesn't exist. We're trying our best. I don't know, the edges are pretty. On one side we have the rock and the beach, I guess like the island, and then on the other side we have all those blooms. How could we choose which side to cut? So we'll just pop the prompt on the other side and maybe add a little bit of water. Try and make it blend a little bit more with the art that's already down. Though unfortunately it does warp the page quite a lot on this paper, and the Inktense pencils do kind of go through the page a little. Just something to bear in mind if you're using an art prompt book or diary paper or something that isn't as thick as this watercolor paper is. Still, I like it. It's a fun, surreal take on a landscape. Kind of doodle style. You can definitely tell it's come from the Daily Doodle Diary. Next up, who does this feather belong to? Choose the mysterious animal. Quickly googling any feathered animal. And we have a peacock. Yeah, that could be fun. Well, they definitely have colour. And for Inktense pencils, I think that might be the perfect match. It's also colours I don't tend to lean towards. A lot of blue and a lot of green.
Nothing like your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. Cause baby, in your absence life is boring, so I'll never leave. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light, feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as years go by. It's easier to love, oh, oh.
If you're enjoying this video, why don't you go ahead and give it a like and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. My goal for this year is to complete this entire brand new art prompt book. There's gonna be a lot more themes, time challenges, different new art supplies. So there's a lot coming up and you don't want to miss any of the episodes. And if you like the look of this art prompt book, the link is down below if you want to get one yourself. There's actually 100 prompts in here, so it'll definitely last you a while.
Easier to love, oh, oh. There's nothing like the way that you adore me. I can feel love from miles away, and the light in your eyes tells me stories of life.
For the background, I'm just trying to add these feathers and kind of struggling. To be honest, I'm not quite sure how to approach this. I don't have much of a colour pencil background. No, you know what? I don't have any colour pencil background. I completely bypassed that. I found watercolours first and fell in love with them, and that's why I'm trying to approach this with a watercolour view. And so far, that hasn't really worked. My partner Buddy has actually been doing a lot better with these Inktense pencils. Literally tried them once, fell in love with them, and now he can just pick them up and use them and it works, and I do not know how. Do you have that one art supply that you just struggle with no matter what? That is what I'm feeling right now with these pencils. And to top it off, the corner has ripped off. I guess it got wet and weak and literally just ripped off. So we can try and tape it back together, I guess. Glue it a little bit. Maybe some bright white highlights could save this. Add a little bit more detail, definition. I don't know, but I kind of do like the style actually. The plan was always to have a doodle style animal that's also quite defined in certain areas, and I think we have sort of achieved the style. It's just the execution. It's not quite there, unfortunately. You know what? I think it's finally time. We need to swatch these. They look completely different when you add water. Very unhelpful. Oh, maybe that sketchbook actually. Yeah, I think this will work. We need to somehow fit every single one on here. There's also a little bit of mess. Just ignore that. I can make it work. Okay, we have 36 colours here. If we half it, that's 18. Does that seem like a lot? I don't know how we're gonna fit these in. Oh, that's a bit messy. Do you know what? I'm just gonna ignore that one. Yeah, that's better. 21. Okay, that's not the worst. A centimetre and a millimetre basically on each. So 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 5. Oh, they are tiny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 17, 18. Oh yeah, that's close enough. I'm gonna take it. That's fine. Considering we just winged that. Use a mechanical pencil so it doesn't have as much loose graphite. Oh, this is tiny. 1800. Oh, I think they're slightly in the wrong order. Yeah, these two are the wrong way around. 1200. Okay, I think we're ready. We can always grab the water afterwards because really this is the first step. Number 1. Okay, let's go grab some water. We're gonna need 2, one for mixing and one for clean water. However, it's probably gonna pick up stuff. I don't want to just rinse it away, whatever's on the brush. So why don't we take off this sheet and then whatever's left on the brush, we'll just pop on here. That way we're keeping it rather than throwing it away. We can always doodle on it later. As you'll probably have learnt by now, I don't like to throw anything away. This is our clean pot. That's for whatever's left. To be honest, maybe something like this small flat brush could be best because we are kind of going up. Guessing the yellow isn't going to look much different. Oh, it's very bright actually. And then we'll just pop what's left on here. Yeah, this was the right brush. It's almost like a reddy orange. Okay, that's the swatches all done. Isn't it crazy how much brighter it goes once the water's added? You can see a little bit at the top, they kind of went a little bit wonky. That didn't quite go to plan, but something that is quite interesting that I did notice. Because we're wiping the excess onto this, which has some pretty blooms, we'll use this later for something. Both of the waters are pretty clean. So actually wiping the excess onto a bit of paper might be a really good tip because you're less likely to have cross-contamination and muddy up the colours. Yeah, I think that's better, especially when I've done watercolour before and made a bit of a mess. Also, some of the darker ones I might not reach for actually look really pretty in water form. So by not swatching, we kind of missed out because a lot of them look quite similar when it's just the pencil. But like that, it's a full-on watercolour palette. Every single one looks different. Well, okay, we have a swatch card now. I think that's going to make it easier when it comes to the next drawing. Let's head over to the random prompt pot, and it's roller skates. No, I don't fancy that. Okay, number 2, lingerie. Not that kind of channel. We're already on number 3. Whatever it is, we have to go with it. Broomstick. Okay. Do any of you remember this children's book, Broom on the Broom? Because when I saw the prompt broomstick, this is exactly what I'm thinking of. Maybe a loose interpretation of that with a little more of a watercolor look. Definitely need a blue, maybe a green, maybe like a brown leaning color. Today we're in the Daily Doodle Diary. If you don't know, there's a series on the channel, a very big one actually. We're now going into year free of drawing every single day for the Daily Doodle Diary. And that piece there on the left is actually something we created from a different episode, which also came from the random prompt pot actually. Oh, that is strange. The sketch is not filling me with hope, but at this moment in time, we just need to get the color down and add water. That is our base. I would like this piece to look closer to watercolor if possible. See if it can be loose and flowy, but with all of the color that comes with these pencils. They're very pigmented. Now that it's all dry, it's time to go in with pencil and re-add the line work that completely disappeared, obviously, because they're water activated. Now, obviously, we've moved on to diary paper. This is definitely 100% not what the pencils are designed for, of course, but we have to be realistic. If this is an art supply that's going to be in the art studio, the only way that I'm going to use it frequently is to be able to just reach for it and grab it and use it on any paper that I have to hand. So that means we need to test out the supplies on various different papers, like of course the watercolor paper, but also the art prompt book and the Daily Doodle Diary. We need to know how it reacts with different papers, because most of the time I'm just going to reach for them. If I said to my partner buddy, like, every time you use these Inktense pencils, you have to use it on watercolor paper, you have to have a pot of water, you have to have a paintbrush, he simply would not use them because these pencils are easy to reach for. You can use them as pencils, you can use them with a water brush just to activate, so we don't need to make it harder for ourselves. If you tell yourself that you're only going to use supplies in a particular way, you're going to find that you don't have enough time to create art. The best thing you can do is make it easy for yourself. Don't be strict, don't create rules. Art is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be freeing, it's supposed to be easy. And that's why we're in the Daily Doodle Diary. So at the end of the day, use your supplies. Don't leave them sitting around. Don't tell yourself that you can only use them in a particular way. And always try and make the best art you possibly can. This piece is clearly not that. It's not really blended, it's not even, and we haven't spent long creating it. But that's completely okay. It's a sketch, it's a doodle, and it's also art. So please stop being so hard on yourself. Just create. And with that, I hope you'll reach for your sketchbook, create some art, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll meet you back here again on Sunday. Bye bye.